There's no such thing as a perfect dash cam, they all have flaws, and today we're going to go through the pros and cons, the flaws and victories of the Viofo A139. Thanks so much Viofo, I love you guys so much. Now, I want to sing Viofo's praises from the heavens because they have helped me out a ton over the last couple of weeks. We have had a very lengthy back and forth trying to fix my A129, and despite them sending a fresh rear cam unit and two separate cables, one which they said was better than the other, it turns out that the problem was merely just the main power cable. Bruh. What happened was, when I was taking the dash cams out of the Mariva and sticking them in this Mazda, I must have damaged them a bit. I know that the older cables for Viofo are a lot thicker, so you have to really push them in the trim with the thing, and I'm assuming that I'd buggered some of the wire for the rear cam, because the rear cam would not be picked up whatsoever by either my Viofo A129 or my mum's. That was the first problem. Then this video that I'm about to show you is the second problem. It was pretty evident when testing the new rear cam and rear cam cable that Viofo had sent me that I had in fact damaged the previous one beyond repair. However, when I hooked it up to the unit again, this is the problem I was now faced with. It would start recording, but not for very long. It would always crash the main unit. The screen would always go really fuzzy, kind of like with coloured bars across it. You'll see that in a second. And the camera, when it does that, will eventually freeze up like that, and it will no longer be recording despite saying that it is. I'll run you through my setup, because I don't think I've shown you guys my setup in a while. So in the front we have the Vantrue N43 channel, which if I press that button there, that saves a clip which is wired through the car all the way over to that back window there. Now we also have in the back the A139 that I've been testing, and I've also stuck the interior camera on because why not? I figured I'd see how good it works with all three recording in the highest quality. Since I've reviewed this, which I absolutely sung the praises of, and I still do, it has a problem where the files have to be converted because Premiere Pro doesn't like them for whatever reason. When you're saving the clip, it saves the rear cam as well. Sometimes it will completely erase the 2 minutes that you want and then save a completely separate 1 minute following it. So yeah, that's another little mini review on this one. There you go. So now it is time for the absolutely mandatory unboxing segment. So now we get the main unit, the rear cam and the infrared interior cam. We get one long power cable, one short connector for the interior camera, one long connector for the rear cam, and a smaller power cable as well, USB-C. And you also get one of the classic dashcam shoehorns, a polarising lens, an SD card reader and some spare sticky pads. And then you also of course get the manual, a little welcome thing with a warranty, and these things which I will explain very shortly. So now let's start off with the cons of this dashcam. I have to mention it, there's no screen, and I'm not really too fond of that. Obviously it forces you to use the app, but it does give you a really nice, easy, sleek way to look at all your settings all at once and change whatever you need to, and it's probably for the best that you go in and turn off the watermark anyway. Now this next one's a very minor one, but it doesn't have a USB on the actual power cable. I'm only putting it as a con for Viofo because I really do like it on Vantrue's dashcam and it has come in handy quite a few times. And now another minor nitpick that I've got. It's a heavy dashcam. And the reason that's a complaint is due to these things that I showed you just a few moments ago. These are transparent window adhesives, and the idea with these is that you stick the dashcam sticky mount to this and then stick that to the window, so that if you need to, you can easily move and replace the dashcam. However, because of the weight of the dashcam, it simply falls off all of the time. So I stopped using these, and I just now use the regular sticky mount, and even that falls off all the time from the weight of it. And now finally, my biggest complaint with the Viofo A139 is you cannot disable the G sensor. To my knowledge anyway. Look at the options that you have in the app. There's low, medium or high. Where's the off setting? Fuck it, I'll have some music on. So I don't think anything's going to happen anyway. Happen?
Video protected.
Nah, right, okay, right. That is going to be a problem. So there's going to be a million clips that I'm going to have to look through that have been saved just because there's a bumpy road.
Video protected.
Did you just save another clip? Bro, all I did was accelerate to 40. Please stop saving clips.
Video protected. Video protected.
Now it's time for the pros. And despite me complaining about the transparent adhesives, clearly Viofo are trying new things, which is a good thing. After all, they're the only dashcam company that have come up with a Bluetooth button, to my knowledge, and it's the single most handy thing I've ever seen from a dashcam company. Keep trying new things, Viofo. And now, because of the way I've pretty much killed my A129, although it's fine now, I have to praise Viofo for the A139 having very long and very thin wires. It makes getting it in the trim of the car an absolute breeze, and doesn't risk damaging it as easily. Unlike its predecessor, this one comes with a polarising lens. Have a look at the price if you wanted one with the A129. Gee! That's a fair bit of money just to stop a bit of sun glare. And now probably my favourite thing about the A139 is it's compatible with the old Bluetooth button.
Video protected.
Absolutely stellar. Although it doesn't come with one, so don't get too excited. And finally, as you can imagine, there's been an upgrade to the video and audio. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so I'm just going to run us through some clip comparisons between the A129 and the A139. So the first things that you'll notice immediately is that the A139 has a much deeper contrast and saturation to its image than the A129, and despite both cameras claiming to be a 140 degree wide angle lens, I would argue that the A139's may be bigger than that, or the A129's smaller than that. I'll let you guys decide, but it certainly looks like you can see more in the A139, making things look a little bit further away than the A129 would. Now it would appear that in low light conditions, due to the higher contrast, that you'd lose a bit more of the image, but if you just do a little bit of a brighten, it definitely reveals a lot more than if you try that on the A129's clips. Plus, if it bothers you that much, you can always change the exposure. This was set to standard, you can always set it a little bit higher. Right, okay. Bro, if that isn't stolen, I'll give him 100 quid. Right, okay. Bro, if that isn't stolen, I'll give him 100 quid. That has gotta be stolen. I think you could argue here as well that the A129 picks up this woman singing a little bit better than the A139 does. But again, I would argue that that's because I think they have a slightly different angle lens. And now because of the fact that the A139 makes things look that slight little bit further away, it'll mean that tailgating clips won't look as bad as they should. And in conclusion, I just wanted to show you the quality of the side cam compared to the Vantru side cam, and the interior cam. That's a lot to ask of a dash cam, 3 sources of video and audio, but as you can see it handles it perfectly fine. I mean, that's pretty fucking stupid what you just did, wow. That is some of the stupidest driving I've ever seen in my life.
Video protected.
Because the car behind me was turning left, the bloke who's just pulled in behind us now drove for maybe 300 yards on the wrong side of the road. Wow, wow, I don't know if you guys saw that.
Video protected.
But,
Video protected.
the guy behind me just tried to wave that box all out and they were having none of it, so he went, well, fuck you. Now if you want to copy yourself one of these cameras, or anything else that I use I'll recommend, I do have a bunch of affiliate links in the description, and if you guys click those and then proceed to buy something the same day, I get a little cut. So think of your boy before you think of buying your next dash cam. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.